Hello, Todd.
Hello,
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Would you be able to tell us more about Token, what you do, and what do you do for open banking?
Sure. Well, Token provides software for open banking, and we view open banking as a two-sided marketplace and therefore a two-sided problem. And so Token provides a solution to both sides of the problem. It's ensuring that the quality of supply of information from banks is high quality in addition to making it easy to consume by third parties. So we provide an API platform for our banks to comply with PSD2 and to create premium APIs. And we make it really easy for third parties to get access to banks to create their financial applications. So basically I say we exist to power the next generation of financial applications by putting a bank in every app.
Why do you think the evenings like tonight are really important for open banking?
Well, this is a particularly knowledgeable community, and so I find the ideas shared here are great, they're forward thinking, and I think a group like this really pushes the market. I think the focus was on compliance for so long. Now the focus is on how do we monetize this, how do we push beyond compliance. Compliance was the catalyst. API-based banking is the future. So how do we move beyond compliance to API-based banking? And I think that's what groups like this are tremendous to kind of be thought leaders in that area.
Talking about thought leaders, what's the future looking like for open banking?
Well, open banking is here to stay. It was off to a rocky start. Half the banks in the UK missed the deadline. Our APIs have not been stable for a very long time, but they've stabilized. We're now doing 80 million transactions a month in the UK. Simple use cases, data, but to me it just signals that it's here to stay. And it's going to be a dramatic change how we interact with our financial services. No longer am I going to, with a specific purpose, log on to digital channels. I'm now just going to consume financial services in the apps that I use on a daily basis. So I think API based banking is going to be revolutionary, putting really financial services into every single phone. So there's opportunities for third parties to get cheaper payments, to get richer data sets, to be able to verify their customers. But there's really not a lot of opportunities for banks to monetize that. We think for banks, the opportunity is going beyond compliance to create what we're calling premium APIs tonight or commercial APIs. It's basically creating functionality beyond which is mandated by the regulation that you can charge for. And these might be aggregated or derived data sets. It might be more sophisticated payments like variable recurring payments, future dated payments, split payments or installment payments, sweeps that might happen. So yeah, I think compliance mandated that the banks serve up information. The future of API-based banking allows the banks to compete in that new financial layer and establish a position in that new financial layer themselves.
What would you wish to see happening in the next 3 to 6 months? Because we've got a situation with challenges with strong customer authentication, delays again. So, what would you like to see happening in the open banking ecosystem?
Well, the barriers to open banking, I'd love to see those addressed, and I call them the 4 F words of open banking. So the first one is fragmentation. Every bank built differently to the spec, and so we have a very fragmented ecosystem. The second one is friction. There's too much friction in the strong customer authentication, preventing a bank payment from really sitting at a point of sale. We need to fix that. The other one is functionality. So the compliance APIs are too limiting on the functionality. Commercial APIs can go further. And the last is TPP frustration. So it's too hard to onboard as a TPP. And so service providers like Token emerged so that we could serve multiple customers, but now we have to onboard those even as agents. So I hope over the next 6 months that through standards, through regulation, through the market themselves, that we solve the 4 F words of open banking.
How can we support the likes of Token to actually see those 4 Fs being resolved?
Well, 2 of them I think will be solved by the market, and that is the functionality that's enabled. So events like tonight, pushing the limits on premium APIs, commercial APIs. I also think the fragmentation problem will solve over time. Strong customer authentication, I think, needs to be solved by a federated identity model, which should come from a government entity or the regulator. And the TPP frustration, so the difficulty of onboarding, I think we should be lobbying the regulators and we call it open banking, but it's only open to regulated parties under extreme restrictions. So how do we lobby the FCA and the ABA to open that up a bit more? So I think it's working together as an industry to push those areas.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Todd. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you.